Not gonna lie to you kids, it's a f***ing jungle out there. Keep your head on tight, unknown brain and mind me, baby, let's do it. Y'all see me flying, never drop down, smoking high, I am not round, I'm not round, no denying what I got now, keep an eye out, keep it locked down. Locked down, see me flying, never drop down. Drop down, smoking high.
Good evening everyone, welcome for the Pulsing via GT3 in the Friday race. And for tonight it's Zolder and it's back again in the wet conditions as similar to yesterday evening where the rookie class was racing around in also a wet Zolder. But either way, we are now with Alan Brown in the 738 red Aston Martin, and I'm quite curious to see effectively how much rain there is on track. Let me see if it's already damp. Okay, not this one, not this one. It's still wet and it's going to rise even. So possibly the tactic of waiting for the track to drying up is definitely going to counterfire some of the drivers that stayed in the pits longer. There is Goodway still in the pits, and there is Schneider also, Otto and Agudelo, all in the pits, waiting for the track to dry a bit, but I apparently didn't notice that the track is not going to get better, it's actually going to get worse. So I'm not really sure why they're still in the pits, because at this point you just have to fly away as quickly as possible. And I think Alan Brown really took the initiative firstly because, well, track condition really has to get in his favor. As for now, I wonder effectively when the 10 minutes, so definitely the silver class is going to have a bit of a blast right now. Still in blue, not sure why, because I was quite sure it would have been orange, but theoretically they are in orange. And the green are always the pros. But anyway, this season, as in the name and the title and everything, is sponsored by Spur Sim Gear, and the winner and the P2 class winners. P2 class winners is not really. The P2 classified in class at the end of the championship will receive some prizes, but we will talk about it later on. As Alan Brown's first effective run, it's going to be the first lap that will be registered, and quite obviously not the fastest one, because still the track can be dried up, and it's not even a valid one because Alan Brown goes off, and the next person on track is Blanchette in the 5 Ferrari, going a bit wider. And even for him, the airplane seems to be quite a struggle. A bit of a loose rear on entry. And still looking at the silver. All the silvers are... No, there is one that is still not on track. Curtin waiting for... I don't know at this point, because effectively there are 4 minutes have already passed. Nearly. And there are just 6 remaining. And the track is not going to get any better. If anything, it's going to get worse, as we have our first time lap at 39.8, so clearly track is worse than yesterday, as Voltea goes with a 37.9, nearly 2 seconds quicker in a Mercedes. And I'm not really sure who is going to settle up, because race control doesn't really give me any real target for now. Caprino goes faster than anyone else, 36.8. We are getting closer to the 35. There is going to be a best possible point to settle up, as Ippolito goes in 3rd place. There's going to be a moment where the track is going to be the perfect condition. You just have to be lucky, because effectively that's it. You just have to be lucky in these conditions, because how much the track is wet, let me see, still wet, okay. So I don't think it's going to get damp, as Goodway goes in 2nd. It's definitely not going to be damp, that's for sure. It will stay wet, and as the rain is going to get worse and worse, we may see some pros more than one or two. Definitely a lot of pros will be in the midfield in silver class. Not because they are slower by default, but because the conditions are not in their favor. There are still 4 minutes to go, and the rain is going to get worse in the last 10. Qualifying session is split in 2 parts. The first one is going to get the silver ongoing, while the second part is going to have the pro on track. For now there are 17, 18, 19, 21 silvers, and so 15 pros, as Caprino sets another fastest up in the 27 Porsche. So the best car for this particular combo, because wet track and Zolder, the Porsche just flies away. And Caprino in fact goes into the gravel, but for now it's half a tenth, it's half a second between him and Foltea behind in a 30 Mercedes. Fast second sector, but the other two are in Caprino's favor, while Lewis goes in third place in the 114 Audi. Terrible car in these conditions, because the Audi really can't stay on a wet surface without giving an headache to whoever is driving it. This is now going 4 times quicker than himself. Into second chicane. This track is phenomenally... It's all technical. It's absolutely... I think it's the most possible technical circuit in all the ones that are available. And all the names are terrible, to be said. At least by my side, because I'm not nor Belgian, nor Dutch, nor anything. And I probably misspelling all of them, as Curtin goes from last to second, as his first time lap was 3 times off Caprino. On average is very good, apart from the first sector, which seems still to be a bit of a struggle. You could see the rear end not really following the driver's inputs, and that's possibly what is holding him up. 3 times, nearly 3 times, 2.3 times have been lost in just sector 1, while the other 2 sectors are more or less on par. Foltea is effectively improving. For now it's 5 times, so enough for pole, but also Caprino is improving, even if those 5 times were possibly going from a bit of a wide entry, or a loose entry, I would say. Ippolito and Curtin with yellow flags, but they are still out on tracks. Oh, a bit wide on the hairpin, at least on entry, and that was definitely it was definitely an impact on the timing. Gap passed from 2 times to 0, and then even the last chicane, bit of overgo, and thus the lap is effectively nullified altogether, as Caprino ends the qualifying with a 36.3. Now he just needs to wait for all the other drivers to complete, but MC is setting a second, except his lap is not valid for exceeding track limits, so those 8 times now are effectively nullified, and it's quite unfortunate because it would have been easily a P2. And there is just one attempt for everyone, I guess, apart from a couple of exceptions. But there is just one attempt for anyone on track. We are still with Foltea because it's possibly going to be... It kinda works. The testing on chat, but I don't think the GIFs are accepted through Twitch chat. But anyway, Foltea is still improving. There is Goodway that goes in third, and with 15 seconds to go, still has the time to set another lap. 5:02 are the milliseconds gapping him from Caprino, and from now on, the pro drivers are going on track. And yes, track conditions are worse than the beginning of the session, with Curtin that was going to set a very good lap, and everything is nullified by going off track. Voltea, we were following him, it's a second place, best second sector by 3 tenths. First sector is more or less on par. The problem is on the third sector, half a second has been lost on Caprino, so I think it's either... Okay, it's working. It's either... Oh, Klein! By surprise! By complete and astonishing surprise, the 974 goes in pole position. I thought it was over. I thought it was completely over, while David Klein, the Belgian driver in the Honda, goes in pole position, 36.2, best first sector, an average second sector, and a quite good third sector, but altogether it was the first sector really making a difference, 32.8, the only one on the 32 in the first sector, and thus pole position has been done. And so now it is the pro times, and I'm not sure who I should pick up, because all the drivers... Okay, maybe I go here, and maybe I go... Oh, no, not this one, not this one. I'm missing everything. How am I so capable of missing every single thing? 34, I think it's the first track... No, the first one is the 82, because Goodway was still on track, but it's not going to be an improvement for Goodway. As I was saying, Pavel Prolovchuk is going to be the first car to set a lap for the pro drivers. And we can go with a little track ride with him. It's not going to be the pole lap by any means, like not obligatory, even if because the entry you saw the steering wheel not really forcing the correct racing line, but more like the opposite. It was the wheel that was forcing the racing line, or the racing line that was forcing the wheel. I don't know. I'm inventing things at this point. But Pavel Prolovchuk in the 82. Castle chicane. The rear still very loose. Quite odd because the Honda is usually a very understeery car. And as of now, you are seeing that Pavel Prolovchuk possibly put the most loose settings on his car to get the most of the agility of for how much agility you can have by the Honda engineered car. Spam in chat obviously by emotes. Thank you, James and Marco. Very, very professionals. Professionals have standards. But Prolovchuk is going to set the first lap, and it's going to be pole, actually, by 82 milliseconds, and 36.2 is going to be the first timed lap by the pros, so we have the first benchmark. Keenan goes in 13th, Garvin 8th. For now we'll stay with him. A different variation for the Ballast Esport car. Horman in 13th. As I said, a lot of drivers will not be ahead of Silvers. Possibly many drivers will go in the middle pack, as Rumitasov goes in 7th. Okay, that was a bit of... Oh, okay, that was too much of a jump. We can see it back from the same... From this view, actually. I want to see how high it was, and the answer is yes. All 4 tires off the track, and those... The tires is... The tire and the lap time are obviously both ruined. Di Catania goes in 5th. So Di Catania, the Italian, is in 5th now, behind Voltea, in front of Curtin, 4 times away from pole. On the left side of your screen, you can see both the cars, the race gap that really don't care in qualifying, the gap to pole, and their personal delta. You can see there are very few cars really setting a good lap. All the pros without a lap are Pozniakov, Zaktal, Catania, QL, and Kassiterash. Panov was improving a lot, and then not anymore. Elipo goes in 17th. Polovchuk is still maintaining the lead for now. No improvement on the last lap, obviously, without any real surprise. And Biagio Cutrale in the 913 Ferrari is going to set an improvement on the order of a second and a half, and 10th place is the starting grid for the Italian that decides to go on the pits and change tires and fuel and set up all together. Garbi is in 11th and shutting off the car to get back on pit. Terenskina is setting an improvement. Wonder if it's going to be enough for at least top 5. 7 tenths will be 7 tenths effectively, because 1.4 is the gap between him and the pole sitter. The gap reduces to just 5 tenths at the end of the little kink. You heard the traction control kicking in and really putting a struggle to the throttle and to the traction. But the Porsche, the orange Porsche with white and black flavors, is going to set a 10th place, 4th in class for pros. But as I said, it is indeed what I knew would have happened. The rain, unfortunately, is worse for the pro drivers, and they can't really make anything. Like, even Polovchuk is struggling to set an improvement because the rain has gotten even worse than the start of the qualifying session. You can see from not here, but here, you can see 10 minutes is the rain is rising, but that's the same weather that was previewed 10 minutes ago. So you can see the problem. The rain is just getting worse and worse as the time passes. You're just spamming in chat, you too. At least the commands are working, by the way. I'm not sure, let me check, maybe I have like a ping saying, yo, look there. In fact, it is a ping. I'm not seeing any error. I don't get any error. The orange just doesn't work. Don't ask me why. I don't get any mistake. I put it on the folder. So for tonight it's blue. I don't know. Juwig is improving a tiny bit, 3 times. And effectively he's the only one improving, because Garbi has the lap nullified. Okay, no, there is Di Catania improving. I was blind for a moment. Yeah, I don't know why the orange doesn't work. I did everything correctly. Like, the blue ones works, but the orange don't. So, I don't think I did anything wrong on that kind. But anyway, Salvatore Di Catania now improving a tiny bit. Currently 4 tenths. Oh, it is indeed pole position for Di Catania by 23 milliseconds. But also Polovchuk is going to set an improvement, maybe. Funnily enough, Di Catania doesn't have a single purple sector, but on average he is just quicker. 33.0, 31.5 and 31.6. Polovchuk was 3 times quicker in the second sector, and quicker also in the first, but not so much in the last one. Wait. Oh no, okay. I think there is a problem there, because I think the race control is just checking the quickest sectors standalone, not effectively the lap with the fastest sector. For that I should check the last one, but even then I can see the best one. So a bit of rate. I've been saying wrong data all the time. Keenan went in 5th with Poznikov in 6th. I wasn't looking at Keenan because he was so down the grid, and he went in 5th all of a sudden. 165 away from pole. Apparently the first 6 are extremely packed up as Keenan is now into the pits. And qualifying is over for everyone in the pits. So Polovchuk will stay in second. And Di Catania possibly will stay in first place because the closest opponent is Pozniakov. That unless pulls away an astonishing improvement in the last sector while the rain is getting worse, I don't think he can get a pole. And Garbi is 2 times quicker. Elipo goes in 9th place. Slower. No. Yellow flag just in the middle of my face, so I can clearly see the truck and the car passing by. And Garbi stays in 14th. Zaktal goes just in 18th in the Bentley. And not to be a terrible person, but the Bentley just isn't working anymore. Cutrale is effectively still on track and still the only one setting an improvement and the only one with attempt ongoing. And the improvement is going to be very little, but enough for 12. A position has been done for the Italian. And so, this is your starting grid. May I set it? No, I can't. Okay, never mind. I will...
Right, there is some rain in this session, so watch out for slippery curves and remember to brake.
Yes, Jeff, I know. If you don't destroy my ears every single time, I will be thankful. Anyway, me getting angry with something that doesn't exist. I should effectively start to lowering down his voice. Anyway, I think I will go with the position delta and nothing. Okay, now it works. Okay, so we have again. And effectively, wait, maybe I can do it this time. I need this. So we have 1-2 of pros and a 3-4 of silver. It is unironically the same setup from last evening. Last Friday it was 2 pros in front of everyone, but 2 pros were just behind. And maybe you can go with, let me see if I can do this. I wanted to do something cool, like last time. Nah! Okay, it works. So, we can go with, aha, all the cars. This is exactly what I wanted to do. And let me see if everything works. So we have, on the right, it is the even number, and on the left is the odd. So we have Di Catania and Polovchuk first and second on the grid. Then Klein and Caprino first and second in silver class. Then the Eclipse Racing Esport Porsche in the 78 and the Ballas Esport 86 Honda Pozniakov in 6th place. Then Foltea and Curtin, silver drivers 30 and number 8 Mercedes and Porsche. Then some Astons 69 on the right, Goodway in the 44 in 10th place, Rubens in 11th, then Cutrale in the Ferrari. And then Porsche, because Ippolito is riding it. And then Garbi in 14th place. Lewis, silver driver, in 15th with 16th Longden and Kiss in 17th. Then Zakdal, bit in not the correct way in terms of positioning in class. And then Brown, and then Cassitra, Horman in the 31 McLaren. And then the BMW is Bademsi. Then Sagetti, Oddo, former front, second row starter in Chialami, Romain, Prisce, QL in the 25 Aston Martin on the right of your screen. Then the Mercedes, it is Osorio in the 503, then 16 Van Horn and Catania in the 97, Christian Heider on the 14 on the right, and on the left it's Chris Jones in the white ERS livery. Then Juig, last of the pros, with Mage alongside him, and then 869 Agudelo with Blanchette, completing your grid for tonight. So this was your starting grid, and can I do it like now? Okay, now it was a terrible idea. Too late, now I started it. So we can go with a bit of an aerial view. All the cars have started. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it, lad. I need these. Okay, so we can go with a bit of aerial view. Those wind turbines on the distance are something astonishing to be seen, and also the solar panels on the right. This track is extraordinarily technical, as I said earlier on during the briefing. I've missed turn 1. Turn 2 is Silence blocked, and then the canal blocked. This one here. This section is all a right-hander, and if you go into the grass, it is game over because also the curb. It's extremely wet, the track as of now, and usually use all the track you have while we go over Lucia and Blanchebocht, turn 4. You can see already some tire marks on the track. Usually on the dry you utilize everything that is available, curb, grass, even gravel. Sometimes you can go on the gravel on Lucia and Blanchebocht, even, oh no, I wasn't looking, I crashed the drone. While you go into Klein and Chicane, this one here is usually an airspace flying zone, as you saw with a couple of cars like Polovic earlier on in 82. This time I didn't go directly into the overpass. And then with Gilles Villeneuve chicane, the second chicane out of the three, out of the 4, you usually cut a lot here, absolutely opposite to Klein chicane, while you don't really want to cut unless you have a Mercedes. Here in the 7, you really want to cut across as much as possible and cut away as many times as physically possible without getting a track violation. You brake here in the 100 mark, then the hairpin, Boulder backfield box. I'm not joking, it's literally like that. And then Josh and Rack box, the first chicane out of the 4, then we head into the second straight. Well, it's the last straight, so it technically is the third, depending on how you see it. The first or the third. And then the last chicane, which is Jackie X box, right here. And then starting it with wind turbines on the background. But we go set with Caprino in the helicam as we go for the start of the race number 2 of the Pursim Gear GT3 season number 8. The 27 Porsche, the driver one after the other, side by side. And it's green light, and away we go with a very good start by the Italian in pole position. Nice start by the pole sitter in the silver class, while I'm seeing just behind, seems like everyone is going quite okay there. No real issues altogether. As Pozniakov is making a position, I think Keenan is getting a bit more conservative on the start. Possibly he chooses to lose a couple of spots, whether to lose the car altogether. Don't see many yellow flags. Okay, as the second I said it, there is a car on the gravel. It was Curtin, I'm quite sure it was Curtin, into the gravel, while it is a free wide situation into the first chicane. It's not going to end well, and in fact it's a major crash into the Porsche. It was Pozniakov getting hit by Elipo, and I think it was, not entirely sure what it was, I think it was Runesev on the very side edge of the track, and now Elipo is in 9th place, and Pozniakov fell all the way into 23rd, but the Porsche now has some damage on the rear. I hope it's not too much, even because he's my teammate, so honestly I'm a bit biased. Runesev just behind is possibly trying to get the overtake done, while Lewis, there is another car there, it's a Bentley, it's Zaktal, making the pass on Otto with a very poor exit. And then there is Kassischer just behind with Van Horn and Catania, and then Krishnader making a position. Couple of cars. There is the Bentley there. You saw the overtake ongoing. While there is also Krishnader on the 14 making a position on Sagetti. I think it is Sagetti. This is indeed Sagetti. On the grass he goes. Not exactly the best exit, and in fact he loses the position. Meanwhile, up in front there is Zakdal going very much wide, all the way down into the gravel. There is already a car going into the pits, possibly for a drive-through violation, but I want to see if it was for, okay, not entirely useful. Okay, there was a contact between the Honda and the Bentley, with the Bentley going sideways into the gravel, with then Jewig going full speed into the pits, while Caprin and Klein are trying to switch position. That's for the lead of the silver class, with Klein still in front of all the silvers, and Caprin that has to stay behind. Well, there is a major yellow flag behind. Multiple carnage into the background. 6 cars, 7 cars, 8 cars being involved, so many sideways, and we'll see the incident just after the things have resolved a bit. There is the Mercedes Voltea in the 30. Still behind the other two silver drivers, with a couple of pros behind them too. It was an effective major incident. Oh, another one! It's Catania hitting the Mercedes up in front. It's Chris Schneider in the 14 that was braking a bit earlier than the Aston Martin was predicting, and that was a little contact that has happened between the two cars. But I think we can see Askina lost the position on. Oh wait, there is a overtake. Maybe it's Polovchuk and Klein. It was Klein making the move on Polovchuk, and now Caprino has the chance to make the overtake while the Catania goes fastest. He goes on the right side of the of your screen, so the left side of the track. Don't think Caprino, sorry, can make the overtake there. Oh, he does indeed, because Klein is all the way into the gravel. He has been overtaken by 4 cars in the end, maybe 3.5, because the Porsche is still on the outside and the Honda stays on the inside. I wonder if the Porsche can maintain the position. The answer is yes, because the Porsche kind of pushes Asmo! Into the wall he goes! It was a pole sitter in the silver class! Pole sitter in the silver class went into the wall! I want to see it back instantly what happened. Extreme sportsmanship by the Honda driver. I wonder if it was a contact. It was no contact. It was just the rear. Not really agreeing to the racing line being taken by the Belgian driver, now into the wall. But I want to see back the major incident that has happened back behind. Between so many cars. I think it was here, I think it was this one. Oh no, okay, this was another one that's happening. You can see Blanchard going a bit off and sitting a couple of drivers. But I think it was this one, because the 503 is involved. Okay, you can see from the splitter, you can see some cars already going sideways. You can see from here, all the cars, there was an Honda, and then it was Odo hitting a BMW, and then Kasitrash going full send into the BMW with a couple of cars going sideways into the distance. But we will go back quickly into the race back again, the replay. I think I will go back at it, because now there is a room into a position and kind of sends Voltea into the gravel trap, while Keenan is clearly suffering a lot from the rear end damage that he has suffered at the very beginning. So even in this race he doesn't find any luck. Seems like his unlucky moments are just getting more and more, which is quite unfortunate. Polovchuk is still in second, Caprin is in third and first in class. Rumchasev is now in fourth and on the pro podium, while you can see Po making a move on the very wetter surface. Staying behind the Irishman. Meanwhile, behind there is a Gudelo. Okay, this is terrible. The camera has to get changed. Battle between Astons, and no overtake happens between the two drivers. So I think we can go back to have possibly another look at what happened here. It was David Lewis being involved. Oh, it was going sideways, then it was a Ballas Esport car going sideways, and then all the calamity happened from another view. You can see all the cars that have been involved. And now we're back here because there is a switch of position. It is a Porsche and an Aston and another Aston. It is Ageti over Catania with QL just behind. QL is possibly trying to overtake there. Doesn't happen for now. No contact whatsoever. There is another Aston trying the move. It's a big pile of Astons there. How many are there? 1, 4, 2. I can't count anymore. Breaking news. Commentator can't count from 1 to 5. And it's not even because there are 4. Damn, I'm surprised. How can I reach a lower point? But anyway, you can see it is the Aston Martin in the lime shape going for the move, but we'll go back in front because now there is Runes very close to the car up in front. It's the 27 Porsche. It will stay in front. Meanwhile, Elipo goes for the position on Terence Keenan. And now challenging with Voltea up in front, and now sideways, and now behind, because I think Voltea had a terrible... Okay, no, there is no still behind. Okay, still next to... Oh, contact between Eddie Poe and the Mercedes driver. And there is also Goodway going off. I think we can see... Oh, terrible. This is terrible. Major incident. A lot of drivers trying to get back on track as quickly as possible. I don't think it was a good idea all the way. Goodway, you can see, has been hit by the Ferrari driver. And then Poe just went straight back into the racing line, with the Ferrari getting back onto the racing line also. And there were a few casualties, with Goodway now into the pits and into the retirement for him. So now my race control is completely sideways. Great. I will try to keep up with Caprino. Not really, because he effectively is not challenged for a position in class, but rather for an overall one, so he ultimately goes behind in the priority list in terms of who has to be seen, because Odo is now trying the position on the other Audi. You can see from the splitter cam. And now the wing, because the Porsche behind, which was, I think, in 11th place. Oh, the bit on the grass for the Italian. But Audi up in front. There is also a battle between Kiss and Brown. We go back here, in fact, because the Mercedes is trying the position on Brown. It doesn't happen for now. While behind, no position also has to be changed, while the 77 is flying over the curb. So the Audi flying range has a new customer. And Ippolito made a bit of a terrible exit there. A second off from Odo. And oh, yellow flag for Horman. Not really facing the correct racing. What happened there? Oh, I know what happened. Exactly what I thought would have happened. Oh man, there has been a hit there by a McLaren driver. Not sure who that was, if it was Measure. It was Measure indeed. 27th overall and all the way down into the grid. While QL and Catania have switched position while we were in the replay. And honestly, I just want to see it back, because it was a position switch for pro position. You can see the sand into the inside by the Ukrainian driver. And the Italian had to stay behind. Meanwhile, I'm seeing a yellow flag. How is it that every time I'm into the replay something happens? Is Blanchett into the wall? I think it was Blanchett into the wall. Oh, on the grass just by a tiny bit. It doesn't hit any car passing by, but goes into the wall by a hole. And thus it is a bit of a struggle there. Oh, more contact there. It's Van Horn and Catania, so we go back into the replay. Seems like everything is just happening at the worst possible occasion. We can see back here what happened with Van Horn. Oh, there's been a hit behind. There's been a hit from Catania behind, and the 97 also hit back Van Horn in the 16. So I guess there is going to be a penalty for the Italian. I think you can see it back, because the 97 and the 16, it was indeed, you can see from the interior, because now I want to see, okay, it went wide on the very early beginning, and then he just missed the backing point. You see how he hit him, and then trying to get back into the throttle, he hit him back. So now Van Horn is all the way back into 25th position. Still the same position in pro class. While we go back with a position change here, because Garbi and Poznikov battle against Hondas, and also Klein that earlier on went into the wall, while Cutrale is now in 12th place overall, but doesn't change anything for class position. So we can stay back here and go into Garbi's wing. I want to say Klein's wing. My brain is not really cooperating with me tonight. Stephen Klein with some damage on the front end of his car. Okay, Garbi goes on the inside. Also, Poznikov wants to make the position. It's free wide into turn number 3. It's not going to end well. And in fact, it's a contact between those drivers, but no incident. Oh, never mind what I said. Garbi is into the grass, into the wall, and also Odo is into the wall. Two different contacts. Another one goes into the Odo. It is Chris Schneider, the 14 car. I want to see first between Odo. Oh, he went on the grass and then spun into the wall, and then has been also hit by, you can see, Chris Schneider. But now we'll stay back into what happens live, because there is a contact between the Bentley and QL in the 25 Aston Martin. But there is also Garvey that has managed to get over Chris Schneider overall. We will get back into the replay between the contact. Oh, Elipo sends the car with some suspension damage. I think there is suspension damage because I saw the right light flickering, and he loses not only one, not only two, but also an effective class position by doing the sand. And Cutral is now in front of Elipo, and the Polish driver hits the Ferrari driver into the gravel. Not really a good race by the pink livered car, and now Cutral is possibly having some rear end damage. We now Kiss battling with Elipo to try to maintain at least the overall position, because behind there is Lewis challenging for position. I may have missed a couple of overtakes and / or incidents in all of this. I'm just trying to keep pace with everything. It's just a lot going on in this wet Zolder, while the top 7 is quite okay. All the rest of the pack is not really, as Alan Brown is now trying the position on a bit of a damaged Honda. Seems to be making it into first chicane all the way instantly. Flies over the distance, and Klein possibly wants to claim back the position. It doesn't seem to be happening, as Klein stays behind. So we can see back a couple of incidents that have happened, especially the one between Garby and all the other drivers. It was... let me see, because now there is a bit of calm. No, never mind what I said. The calmness is not happening. Elipo wants to make the overtake on the Ferrari driver that he earlier on sent into the distance. More contacts. Quite obviously, the Ferrari driver doesn't want to let the Polish driver pass by, for obvious reasons. While Kiss wants to pass this very nervous duo, because both drivers may send the Mercedes driver into the distance also, and they are also going quite slowly compared to Kiss. For now, nothing of such thing happens. Maybe Lewis wants to make the overtake on the Mercedes driver. That's for 5th place in class. Remember you all that the second, the blue number plates are silver drivers, while the green number plates are pro drivers. And you can see there is a bit of a mashup between pros and silver drivers, but I want to see the number 221 making contact, and I can see it here. You can see from the helicam what happened here. It was free wide into turn number 3. It wasn't going to happen. There was a contact between a couple of drivers, and then it was the silver driver sending Garby into the distance, while I'm also seeing the 913 and the 69 making... Oh no, okay, I understood what it was. It's possibly this one here. It was indeed this one here. You can see Elipo making contact with the Ferrari driver, and that's why Cutral is now in front of Elipo. Said Cutral that he's now trying the position on Klein. That wouldn't be for class position, while Romain is not really facing a correct... okay, it's just too late. But I think he went into the grass, into the gravel, and then onto the wall. And unfortunately, I just missed it. And Elipo nearly... Okay, that's a penalty. I think that's going to be a penalty. I think that's good. I want to see it, because unfortunately I'm very... I want to see if it was made on purpose. It was made on purpose. I think it was made on purpose. I think he took out the braking marker for the pit limiter. And if it is indeed the case... Oh, Garby is into the grass and sideways, and not the correct way, and now sideways again. And now back on track. But I think Elipo made it on purpose. If it was... mistake actually. Because that's just something that can't be done, like, by any kind. And I wouldn't throw accusations But it was quite blatantly, unless there was some clear damage to the suspension, which I'm not aware of, because I missed the first part. They may have gone into the barrier earlier on, but if it was done on purpose, I'm expecting some heavy penalties coming for the Aston Martin driver. Before the clip it. I can like do this. That's the best I can do. Like I can share the footage with but later on. Because unfortunately I pick it up. Unfortunately I pick it up. That's a rule that can't really be broken. For now, Hippolyte and Lewis are fighting for position. I mean, qualifier race. No problem, mate. Like, later on, obviously. Oh, Cutrale? Yellow flag being shown. No problem. Meanwhile, Catania and Garbi are switching position. 97 went for the send on the Honda driver, and seems like it will happen. No, never mind, because Catania sent Garbi into another track, possibly into the Netherlands. And there was definitely some contact there. Meanwhile, Prisha and Blanchette are also switching position for 25th place. And later on, we will see back the incident between Garbi and the 97 car. Number 97 that has been involved in a couple of incidents all the way into the race. While we can see Zakdal very close in 14th place to QL in 13th. Ferrari 2 drivers seems to be okay with it. Cutrale is very close to Brown, but remember they are not fighting for positions overall, because in this championship only the class position counts towards the point distribution. Garbi goes into the pits,
Pit window is opening.
and I think I think at this point the game recognizes your pit. Okay, I'm not entirely sure about that. I don't know if it recognizes your pit after you cross the line or when you effectively pit. Because if so, there may be some tactic. While Lewis in 10th place is going for the move on Klein. That's for 3rd place on class, silver class, and the two drivers collide a little bit. Klein goes over the curb, flies off into the distance, and Lewis gains P3 in class, while also Brown is going to get 4th place in class. And Hippolyte is now very close. That's a fight for class position, and a very high one. It's the 3rd one on the standing. While Caprino and Foltaire are 4th and 5th respectively. They have to fight for, effectively, I won't say what remains, but more like what is available. So 3rd place for now, as the battle behind us waking up, as slow it down a bit. Klein goes straight into the pits, and now I think I can go back and see what happened between the 97 and the 221 in this occasion. You can see from the helicam Melka Garbi on the outside, contact between the two drivers, and then the Aston Martin effectively sent the Honda driver into the gravel trap. So side damage, possibly some time being lost altogether, and etc. It's the usual. While Hippolyte also goes into the... Oh, Garbi again. Yellow flag. Okay, seems like he just went wide. Oh, Brown went wide and into the barrier. And he was in 4th place. He was in 4th place. I want to see it back though. What happened here? He was in a very good position. Did he went wide? He did indeed went wide. And into the barrier. So now I think that pit will be imposed by such thing as the ERS orange Bentley behind in 12th place and 7th place overall, 7th place in class, is trying to get the position done by as soon as possible. And now I think it's the time to put out, if it works, the pit stop leaderboard. Please tell me it works. I don't know. Oh, while Pozniakov passed Keenan for position. That's Pozniakov making the position on the ERS car, still suffering clearly from the damage suffered from the very initial beginning. And I wonder why he's waiting so much. He's going to wait even more while stop and go penalty for Catania and Van Horn. Now that I'm looking at it. And QL2. No, wait, Catania. No, okay, I've missed. It was just Catania and Van Horn having a stop and go penalty for effectively missing the pit limiter. But at this point, I don't even know if it is effectively their fault because of what we saw earlier on. I just want to see the pit count, if it is okay. It shows me that Kasitrash is the first. But here... Okay, Brish and Juwig made a pit. They made... not a pit, they made a drive-through for exceeding track limits. Brish and Juwig. Oh no, for starting procedure, sorry. Because Juwig went in the pits as soon as possible, and I think Brish too just didn't see it. So they have to make another pit stop. And Palavchuk is effectively the first of the top end of the field to make the pit. And I just wanted to make this, okay. And I want to go here because Voltea and never mind. Because something is not working here. Ah, okay. It was a bit glitched. It was showing me the gap between Palavchuk and Voltea. And I flashed for a moment, it was the gap between Voltea and Caprino. It isn't indeed. The battle here is between Agudelo and Brown. Again, I don't understand why some drivers with damage are not going into the pits. Even because you can see from the right part of your screen the rain is getting worse as the time will pass. So possibly either they will try to stay out as much as possible to get the best pressures, which is a viable tactic. Or rather, they are just finding, okay, Kasitash is into the wall. Kasitash is into the wall for some mistakes that have happened. Oh, he went just straight into the grass and kept the throttle on, which is a perfect recipe for going just... He didn't go into the wall. He just missed it, barely, but just missed it. And... oh no, maybe... I've understood what the problem is. It's not the fact that they want to stay out as much as possible for pressures and etc. Look where Palavchuk is. And look where Jones is. It's obvious that whoever is behind Palavchuk will go into traffic. Which is not exactly the best thing to have in this kind of... these kind of scenarios. I'm also seeing Brown went into the pits, by the way. I'm also seeing that Brish and Mage are possibly starting a fight. By the way, now that we have a bit of a well, spare time, because effectively it's it. I can't really make any provision or anything. I remember you all that this league is sponsored by Pursim Gear, which gives the winners and the second place drivers in the standings, both Pro and Silver, some good prizes. The winner will receive some personalized gloves for the pros, while gloves and socks for Silver, while P2 in the standings for both Pro and Silver will receive a pair of gloves brought to you by Pursim Gear. So thanks to them to giving further incentive to all the drivers to participate in this league. while Pozniakov is sending himself into the pizza. Sagesse is now very close to Agudelo. Now that I'm looking at it, we can go from the wing. I remember you that on the left you can see the pizza, clearly marked by the upper part of the leaderboard. And for now, a very good amount of drivers didn't go. Okay, Saggetti went into the pits at the last moment, though. I noticed that he was not really completely into it until the very last moment. While Prisha is still in direct proximity, not even proximity, but ahead directly to the McLaren driver with front-end damage. Prisha, let me see. Okay, did already make the pits. No, he didn't. He was one of the drivers that went into the pits for starting procedure violations. So he still has to pit. The Catania is still in front. Not really having any issue for now, as the Italian is extremely good in this Honda in these conditions. Polovchuk is still behind, 6.3 away. And Rumisasev is further in I think it is 7 seconds away. I'm trying to check where all the other drivers are now. Keenan finally goes into the pits. Again, I'm not entirely sure why he waited so much. Gutale also goes into the pits. I'm looking if there is also some driver that had to make a stop and go. Longden did. Van Horn did. Catania did. Brown is going for something. Because it's the second one, this one. Let me see. There is stop and go penalty. Oh, Catania is into the gravel. It is into the gravel for some reasons. And Zakdal is also into the wall. I'm more interested about Zakdal because he was ahead into the standings. Oh, it's the rear. Oh, into the upper section, and he went full into the barrier. And he has now some clear damage to the front of the car. In 17th place. The problem is that he made already a pit stop, so he has either to make another one if the car is too much ruined, or to just stay with it with 30 minutes. So it's not going to be a pleasant ride for him. Keenan is now out of the pits after not repairing the car. Okay, that's why he waited this much. Because he didn't repair the car. That's quite obvious. Caprin is now into the pit. I'm trying to check everything at the same moment, which I'm not entirely good at, but I'm trying. Splish is into somewhere into the distance. Oh, he nearly went across Pozniakov! And I think Pozniakov was involved. I want to see it back from Prish view. So he went into the chicane a bit too quick. And then you can see from the helicam that he went back into the racing line, and Pozniakov indeed made contact with Juig, because Prish just went back on track as soon as possible, and noticing the fact that two other cars were passing by. It's also Klein, again, with some troubles in his car. Oh, he was spinning into turn 1 just after his pit. And then he went into the gravel because the leader was passing by. And now Prisha into the pits for effectively the first time. While Pozniakov is now in front of Juig, even if it's not for position effectively. Blanchette is into... okay, yellow flags being shown because... he went out of pits, so now nothing to worry about. I'm trying to see if there are any penalties that I've overlooked. For now it doesn't seem like it. 33, 32. Lot of cars with damage. Garby had 33 seconds of damage that had to be repaired. Klein 31. And I'm seeing QL had 13. But altogether, seems like many drivers didn't choose to repair the car. Odo had 46, 43 for Zakdal. So he made another pit stop at the end. 43 seconds, it's a lot. And I wonder why he also changed the tires though. Which is not really something that I understand at this point. Remain a minute of damage. And that seems to be it. Well, all the cars seems to be going into the pits, except for Di Catania still... No, okay, Di Catania made it. Sorry. I wanted to say Juig. Juig still didn't. And it's the only one that didn't. While I'm seeing there were a couple of cars battling for no position because it's a back marker and a double back marker. The Mercedes there. Not really sure who it is, but I think it is Chris Schneider. It is indeed Chris Schneider, 2 laps behind. And now Di Catania passes Chris Jones in the white Honda. While Pozniakov is trying to get as quick as possible. But 10 seconds, 13 seconds is the gap between Rumyantsev and Pozniakov. So I don't think Pozniakov will have a real opportunity to make it. I think at this point it's more like it's more possible that Keenan is the real threat for Pozniakov more than anything. Currently sitting 7 seconds behind. And Prisce is back on track, very close to Jones. Yeah, it's a bit interesting, the driving etiquette tonight. I think that the wet surface is really putting some drivers into some struggle. Oh wait, there is Aguero going into the pits. Oh, I didn't... apparently I missed it. I missed it completely. Or did I? Because Agudelo is showing me... Is there any reason? I think it's a stop and go penalty. No, it's a stop and go penalty for Foltea. Foltea has to make a stop and go penalty. That's major. That's absolutely major. While Agudelo, we just had to make another one. Which is odd because he is... I think he had to make a drive-through. That's the only thing that comes to my mind because I'm seeing that he made already a pit stop earlier on. But you can see stop and go penalty for the car number 30 for speeding into the pit lane. And QL is now in 10th place. So top 10 for overall for the Ukrainian driver. And 6th place on class. With Klein now very close to Prisce, up in front. It doesn't seem like it was Prisce against Jones, but now I think it's the Audi having to defend against the Honda. Just behind it was Paul, remember Paul Sitter. Paul Sitter now very much behind after some troubles in the race and with some contacts especially. I just want to see briefly the situation between... Okay, Jones goes for an overtake overall. Incident between Jones and Juig. With Jones losing 2 positions in his class rather than making one overall. I think it was the opposite. It was Juig trying the overtake. Jones trying to defend and then a contact happened between the 2 drivers. with the 792 sitting in the middle of the circuit, while Ippolito is back into the pizza. And I'm honestly not sure why, because Ippolito already made a pit. So he's going for a second. Some drivers went for 2. I know some went for a drive-through. And I wonder if it was the same for Ippolito and I just missed it. Then quite odd. But anyway, Ippolito goes for the pit. And Pozniakov in 5th place overall is getting closer to Caprino. And the gap is between Pozniakov and Rubinstein is 12 seconds. While also here it is the battle for 6th place in class, with Prisce that still has to defend against your pole sitter in class, while Garby is not facing the correct way. Oh, Di Catania yellow flag! Oh, that's the leader! Oh, that's the leader! That's a major one, it's the leader! It was the leader because Polovchuk is now in front. What happened there? You can see Garby in the distance. And it wasn't its fault, it was Di Catania just losing the car on entry. And Polovchuk is now in front. That has a major championship implications. I will not say playoff implication, even if it was cool to be said. I know these will have some major championship implications. The leader, the former leader, went too quick into the chicane, and now he's in 2nd place. The thing is that Di Catania went half a second quicker than Polovchuk in the last lap. So there is still time, there are 20 minutes to go for the Italian to make it back, while Foltea is now going into, well, exiting the pits, and Garby is back again, not really facing the correct way. What happened now? Seems like this is not really Garby's race. He lost the rear by himself, all by himself. Nearly getting it by the leader. It was Polovchuk passing by, so again, this one didn't make luckily, any contact with the leader. And you can see, in fact, I wasn't kidding. You can see it's a battle for the lead of the race. Di Catania is back behind Polovchuk, and he wants back the first place that he so much wants and he so much deserves. There are still 19 to go, and obviously there is no reason to push too much, considering that he just gained a whole second in just 3/4 of a lap. I think that was a lock-up. Tires have to stay clear for how much he wants to make the position quickly. Di Catania has to stay behind Polovchuk for now and understand where the best overtaking opportunity is. Well, I want to see back. Stop and go. Not entirely sure. Okay, so Ippolito made a stop and go penalty, because I'm seeing 30 seconds flat. So it was a stop and go penalty for the Italian. That's why he went a second time into the pits. Pits that now is absolutely useless to be seen. Let me show you the position delta, because now it's interesting to see. Saggetti made 16 positions and QL made 18, starting from 26th place. And Agudelo made 25, starting from 35th. So Agudelo really making. I think he has the crown of best gainer, without any doubt, unless he gets a drive-through. And he also made 2 pit stops, even. So After, I suppose it's a drive-thru, because I don't think it's a stop and go. After even a drive-thru, Agudelo is 4th in class and 25 position upper overall, starting from 35th, which I think it was last place. It's definitely a very good performance by the car number 869, now sitting in 10th place overall. There's still a battle between Prish and Klein, but we will stay here for the battle of the lead of the race for obvious reasons, in the Dallas Esports wing. Same lap by Polovchuk and Di Catania, more or less. Not even a tenth of difference. And I wonder if now Polovchuk will just start to fly away. Or... Okay, I'm seeing that Polovchuk is utilizing everything that is usable. Like going on the curb is... On that curb especially is very much last resource. Because it's extremely dangerous to do it. While Cutrale and Prish... Oh, there's been a major incident here with the 852. And Cutrale... Not entirely sure what happened there. You can see the Ferrari getting spun by the Honda and just going full send into Prish. Innocent part on that contact. And the Ferrari basically killing the Audi in a single way. And I think it was Klein there. It was indeed Klein hitting the Ferrari, well, doing a pit maneuver in the, on the Ferrari and sending it into the Audi as it was a cannonball. No, non si dice. I'm looking at you, chat, whether you are in Italian or in English. I'm looking at you. But Di Catania, this moment, the Italian and the Ukrainian are very much... Oh, never mind. Polovchuk into the grass. It's a first mistake I'm seeing from one of the two drivers. It's the first major effective mistake, because Di Catania made a mistake into the chicane. Oh, there is a yellow flag. Somewhere. At least looking at the map, there is no yellow flag anymore. Because there is not the driver also. So someone was there. And I will never know who. Unfortunately. That was some gravel being picked up by the Mercedes. Mercedes has to get away as soon as possible because the two Hondas are giving all. Shut up! Meanwhile, the Honda on the outside. Oh, maybe not to the inside. Can he make it? He doesn't, because Polovchuk creates a house into the apex and doesn't let Di Catania pass by. It was very close between the two drivers. I think at this point we can go from the splitter count to see just the serial number of the diffuser and check if it is the regulatory one. A very quick gear change by Di Catania. It's not the first time it happened. He is utilizing way too aggressively the engine brake, in my opinion. Not because he shouldn't, but because it's risky. If you get the engine brake timed wrongfully, you get sent into the barrier. Simple as that. The second I said it, Di Catania nearly lost the car on exit. You saw the loose rear, it was very close. You can see it back from another angle. On the outside he goes, he went on the curb. They are not saving anything. They are using everything. They are utilizing even other opponents' tires if it's needed. They are using even, I don't know, Chris Schneider's wing to get more downforce. They are stealing it and putting it on their car. If it's needed, everything is at this point has to be done. It's nighttime between Di Catania and Polovchuk is at the moment the only battle. So luckily it's also the most important one. A second between the two drivers. The last lap was a 37.3 and a 37.4. You can see on the bottom part of the bottom right part of your screen the last lap. Obviously this time it's not going to be a good one by Di Catania. 7.4, 4 times slower than Polovchuk. But remember that Di Catania is, averagely speaking, quicker than Polovchuk. Even if Polovchuk has the quickest lap, on average, can't really check it. No, okay, I can check it because Di Catania, and this time it's the only time I needed it. Sector 1, Sector 2 and Sector 3, guess who has them? The best time sectors are all into Di Catania's pockets. All of them. The only thing that he is missing is the best one. That is in Polovchuk's hands. So this means that Polovchuk has the speed but doesn't have the consistency, while Di Catania clearly has the consistency but can't get everything glued together. And thus it means that Di Catania has to, I won't say struggle, but can't really afford a mistake. I mean, the Ukrainian may as well make a mistake somewhere because of it. Obviously, as I said earlier, Polovchuk has the raw speed but doesn't have the consistency, and the opposite way around. Even if the best lap by Di Catania was 7 milliseconds away, so it's not really that far. It's close. It's not like one of the two will have the major advantage. But this time, 36.3 by the Italian. 0.6. Well, it's actually a 0.4 by the Italian, to be honest. And a 0.6 by Polovchuk. 2 times. 10 laps to go. More or less, 10 laps, 10 minutes to go, so more or less I would say 7. No, 1:36. It's 7 laps. See, 7 laps to go, I think, because in 10 minutes that should be it. Obviously, some of the problems may come out of the fuel, but I don't think they underfueled, like I do. Di Catania lost a bit of gap in this particular occasion. 1.5 being shown on the data. It may be a slow lap by Di Catania. The problem is that after this one there are just 6 other attempts to go. And 82 is currently first. Just hope that Di Catania didn't lose the concentration and the will to make it. Because the speed is there. It's clearly there. The problem is that it's not always there. 6.5. You can see Polovchuk has the raw speed, as I said earlier. 6.2. The problem is that he's not consistent. Di Catania is. Which is something that you never want to fight against if you are consistent. Because if you are consistent, you either have a rock in front or something that you can't reach. When you are consistent, it's a terrible fate because it works very well for endurance racing, obviously. But in sprint racing, it's not that much. And thus, Di Catania kinda has to hope that Polovchuk makes a bad lap, more than one, because the consistency pays off after a while, not instantly. And it's also obvious that if Polovchuk makes a mistake, even if Di Catania is just behind, at that point Polovchuk just can't dictate the pace. As Di Catania goes into the grass, I think he's overshooting it. Now he is overshooting. I think he's getting angry, nervous, loose on the racing line to try to get as much as possible, and maybe he's exceeding the limit physically possible by the car and the human being behind the wheel. And if sometimes some esports drivers are not human beings, I'm still convinced that names like Luke Whitehead are not real. They are AIs. They are like a supercomputer that has been created by Kunos to see what's the physical limit of a car. Because it's I'm not capable of thinking how they can go so fast. While there is also an overtake here because we switch a bit for another battle going on for position. It is the number 21. Because now the gap between first and second is 1.5, while the gap between 21st and 22nd, so 20 position behind, is a couple of meters. Not anymore. And there is also... Oh, contact between two drivers! Yellow flag being shown! And something happened between Klein and Jewig. They were side by side into turn 1 and 2. Into turn 2 and 3, sorry. And then one of the two cars made a mistake somewhere. Oh, it was the Honda going wide. And hitting the McLaren driver. Losing 2 spots into the Pro class. So the number 70 is now in 14th place. Behind Cutrale and Garbi. That passed over him. This just leaves Otto very close to the battle. Oh, that's a mistake by the Aston Martin driver that tried to close the inside way too much. And thus had the worst possible line into 3. I will never say the names back again. I did it just in a pre-race, I will never do it again. Because they are in a terrible language that I can't speak. End of it. So into a full chicane. I think the battle is effectively over between these two, while Garbi is still trying to find a spot. That's for 12th place overall and 7th in class. Second point 1 difference between Cutrale and Garbi. Last lap was 3 times quicker into the Swedish, while the 913 was slower. And with 5 minutes to go, I guess there are just 3 laps to go, 4 laps to go, depends on when they cross the line, so we'll just check. I think the Catania effectively lost interest in the battle, because I'm clearly seeing the gap is now wider, 2 seconds between Polachuk and the Catania, while Garbi and Cutrale are shortening it 1.2, and now Cutrale showed for a brief moment 9 times, 7 now. Because the left side of the screen is delayed by a tiny bit, as it takes the sectors, while what I'm saying is live. Now 2.5 between the Catania and Polachuk, so yeah, effectively the Catania is going to stay in second. Voltea? Oh boy, how happened? What happened there? I think it is a drive-through for... Okay, it's odd, because Voltea is back into the pit. I'm not really sure why though. I will check in some moments why the 30 who was in 5th place is now back into the pits from 11th place overall. And is it a drive-through? It was a drive-through for track limit violations. 3.3 minutes away from the end of the race. And Voltea is now in 16th, even behind Jones in 15th and Klein. So Voltea's race really went in a terrible way after the pit stop started. Like the second the pit stop started, everything went into tiny little pieces. For now the battle still relies on these two. There are 8 times of difference between Cutrale and Garbi. remember that each position in this championship gives you a point. And so, at the end, a mistake in your race is not completely... It doesn't completely destroy your championship, but rather just gives it a little bump. That's why I think it works well, because it doesn't give you the unlucky moment time, where you're like always first, then you do a mistake, and then you are not first anymore in the championship, which is a bit odd, in my opinion. Like, I would do a championship based on average position if it was for me, so... I don't think it's a bad idea. But anyway, we are heading towards the very end of the race. And we 2 to go. Well, 1.5, because Polovchuk is getting closer to the start-finish straight, but there is not time for 2 laps, quite clearly, by the fact that we already passed the 1 minute 36 marker. So for the last lap we'll go with a ride with Pavlo Polovchuk, who... Oh, I saw Di Catania behind, making another mistake, another 1-2. Zakhdal is back into the pits, and Kasetash is yellow flagged, but doesn't lose any position. It's really sure there then. But as I said, we go for a last lap with Pavlo Polovchuk. White flag sponsored by Pursin Gear into Ursel Links to number 1, where we saw a couple of drivers. Oh, there is a car in the middle there. It is a Porsche. It is a Porsche. It was Curtin! It was Curtin, third place driver. He remains in third though. But I want to see what happened there. Okay, no, it's already too late. So I managed to miss the only thing that I said I would have done whatever happened. I'm extremely good. Anyway, we are somewhere into the track. Okay. So we go into Klein Chicane section of turns. That's effectively turn number 5. Over the curb. He didn't go over the curb completely, obviously. Oh wait, this is the wrong driver. Sorry. I thought I was with the correct one for a moment. As we go into Travel Blushed. Okay, this ending went terrible compared to the rest of the race. I apologize for it. Just wanted to make 2 things and then made both terrible. But we go into Blackbird Build. I can't say this name. Boulder Baxos Verbogt. It's literally called like that. It's just... Anyway, into the final chicane, Jackie Xbox. The first name I named correctly and timed correctly. The last lap, the worst possible lap I could have made. But Polovchuk effectively wins the race number 2.
The leader has finished the race.
In the 82 car, ahead of former leader Di Catania. Just behind in second place. Then Rumiasev completes the race in third place in the 176 Aston Martin. Then Pozniakov into the 86 Honda. And then the leader in class. It is the Italian going for the position number 1. And this is your silver class leader and winner of race number 2. It is Pandolf Caprino in 27. Then we have Terence Keenan. And in the race in 5th, behind Caprino, then Sagetti in 7th place and 2nd in class. After a little contact that has happened earlier on. We are Humes on track currently, waiting for him to cross the final chicane and also the finish line in 7th place overall, but 2nd place in class, while QL will be in 6th place in class, and Curtin was the 3rd place car with Agudelo in 10th overall, and then I will just count the overall because it's possible to count the class effectively. Cottrell is in 11th, Jewig in 12th, Klein, then Foltea with 25 pit stops, Jones in 15th, Prisha in 16th, Van On, I missed some, because some drivers are out of the race, so I will just go ahead by the standing south I said, and then Vanoni 18th, Cassitrash in 19th, Audu in 20th, making the position on Blanchett at the very last lap, Brown in 22nd, Zakta, Longden, Marges, Romain, Chris Schneider, Ippolito with another drive to at the end, and then that's why he is not in the race anymore. So DNF for him, same goes for Catania, Keys, Po, Osorio, Horman, Goodway, Banems, and Lewis being also disqualified from the race entirely. Not really sure why. So this was race number 2 of the championship, and I want to see if there is someone into the interview channel. Let me see, because I want to see if there is someone going to get into the interview. I'm not entirely sure about it. I would like if some jump in, whoever they are at this point. But anyway, for next time we will head into Alton Park again for second season in a row. For everyone happiness, it's Alton Park back again. Woo! I'm clearly happy about Alton Park being in Canada. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not driving, luckily, so I can't really complain. I'm just doing the commentary, and for the rest, remember that on Tuesday there is the British GT Championship, and for whoever didn't, be sure to check it out, because there are a couple of good drivers, the usual names, some odd names, myself in an Alpine, and that's why I said Alpine, because you can go both in GT4 or GT3, depending on how much of a meme you want to be, either a normal person or like doing 10 minutes of practice and call it a day, which is possibly my tactic. But anyway, if you just want to see the pulsing gear, I think there are a couple of spots yet to be filled, and if you are a rookie and don't want to participate into the high level, there is either the pulsing gear on the IM server or the rookie championship sponsored by Acelis Design, so be sure to check it out if you want it. But as it's quite clear, there is
Green light, go, go, go.
my ears, there is no one sending himself into a chat with me, and so it means that the stream is going to set an end, and I will see effectively whoever wants to jump into the watch along into the British GT, because I will be on the track, so it's going to be a bit difficult to do the commentary. But if you want to hear my voice, for whichever reason you want to hear my voice, you need to follow, there are the links in chat, FRL on both Discord or Instagram, and also be sure to follow the channel on Twitch, because there's going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then a long way around the corner, but this coming, and it's big, it is a 24-hour. It's going to come very late during the May of April. But in the end, that's it for my side. I'm Chris Romano, your commentator for some of the championship in this in the community, and see you all next time. Bye!